Monday night zoning board of appeals meeting in America's hometown, Plymouth, Massachusetts. Tonight we have two cases. One is a continued case and one is a new case, and then some board matters that we'll clean up at the end. For the first case, case number 4123, I was not here during the original presentation, so I will not be speaking or sitting on this. Our vice chair will take over from here. Michael?
Okay, so seated on this case was Mr. Wallace, Ed, myself, Pete. However, we're going to have to replace, Kevin with Phil. Phil was here for the testimony, so that's all right with you to move forward. Right, is that all right with you to move forward?
I don't think it's their choice.
All right. Yeah, you got to go up to the, yeah, so.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, it's on.
Yeah.
Okay. For the record, my name is Hal Chuba. I'm a consulting engineer with offices at 112 State Road in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. And I'm here representing the applicant, Cannon Fuel, on this application. As you said, Mr. Chair, we were here back in May, I believe. And the application is for an extension of an existing non-conforming use. The property is located at 86 and 88 Sandwich Road. I think you're all familiar with the gas station, the small gas station at the corner of Lincoln and Sandwich. There's two buildings currently at 86, and there's one building, 88, there's another building. Mr. Cannon was able to purchase the second property that had 86 that has a two-story building, and it's an office building with 3 commercial condominium units. His proposal is to demolish the existing 500 square foot small convenience store on 86 Sandwich Street, and also demolish the building on 88 Sandwich Street that has the 3 offices, and construct one-story building about 2,000 square feet to be used as a convenience store, as a complementary accessory use to the existing gas station. And since we are in a transitional commercial zoning district, a gas station is not an allowed use, but this is an existing non-conforming use, so that's an extension of existing non-conforming. The 2 existing buildings that we're taking down, they're both non-conforming to setbacks. The new building will comply with all the setbacks. We did have our site plan review. We have a positive recommendation from the planning board, and also we do have a positive recommendation from the Plymouth Center Steering Committee, which we met with. At the last meeting, we presented the project. There were some open comments from DPW. The board didn't feel that they can vote on that case at that time unless we resolve the comments from DPW. Since that time, we've had some communication back and forth with DPW, and we resolved all their comments. I think you must have a copy. I believe Denise sent a copy probably from DPW. And I believe at the last meeting, I'm not sure, I think Mr. Leary, correct me if I'm wrong, you had some concern about the pedestrian access to the site.
Actually, that was Phil, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, I said, well, let's take a look at the site and see if we can address that. And you were mostly concerned about the pedestrian coming from the other side, on the west side of the property, crossing the driveway to make it to the convenience store. So what we did, we eliminated the parking along the westerly side of the property over the fuel tanks in the northwest corner, and we extended a crosswalk all around the site to the convenience store. This way we can eliminate the pedestrian crossing over the over the westerly driveway to the property. And I think that would address the concerns that you had at the last meeting. So if you're coming either from the east side or the west side, you won't have to cross the driveways. You can just, you have a continuous crosswalk from Sandwich Street to the property. And I believe the abutters here tonight, and late afternoon, I had a few comments or concerns, but I can go over the concerns right now and see how we address them, and then if Richard would like to come to the podium, that's up to you, Mr. Chair.
We
But
could do that during public comment. Yeah.
sure. So, do you want me to go first, and then I can address or I can address
Well,
the comments if
I
you'd
got a
like.
couple questions from the board. Pete.
Sure.
So it's my understanding then that on the left side, which I think is the easterly side.
It was, yeah.
There's no parking on that side.
Correct, because we meet the requirement, the parking required. So with this site layout, we'll be in compliance with all the zoning. We are not asking for any relief from as far as dimensional setbacks, but we're here for the expansion of the existing use. That's
Can I
so.
just, one more question? One
Yeah.
more question,
Sure.
just about parking. It's me, I'm sure, but why is it I don't see 10 parking spaces there in front of the store?
No, you see 7 parking spaces in front of the store.
Okay,
But in Plymouth, and I had a meeting with the building commissioner when we were going through the site plan review, they allow you to count the parking spaces at the pumps.
at the,
So,
what?
yes.
Yeah.
And it's not
Oh,
just
my
in
God,
Plymouth.
that's ridiculous.
I've been doing this all over New England, and most cities and towns, they allow you to count the parking at the pump, because you,
That's the dumbest thing. So
so,
then, my last question then is, for the building department, proposed at this point, but the right-hand space in front of the store is proposed for a potential EV spot. Okay? 2 months from now, they put in an EV thing, and I can't park there. Is that true? Would you say that's true? I guess I want to know what that does to the parking count.
No. Right.
It's just that when the guy drives in and wants to charge it and rips my head off, that I just move. Okay, all right. Well, this parking situation is unbelievable here. That's it, thanks.
Go ahead.
I've just got a couple of questions. Thank you for putting that around. There's one little minor thing is, if you look where it starts, over in the west side, it goes north, and then it turns west.
Mhm.
You're got to remove some landscaping so that panel there is a 5-foot radius so a wheelchair can make a turn. That's in the corner. It's a minor thing, but it's, it's not fully handicapped because of that one spot. If you just take out some landscaping, that's, then it'll be a square rather than a triangle. That's a minor thing, but, I mean, you're gonna make a handicap pathway, you might as well make it for, handicap.
right,
all
I
the way.
mean, there's no curbing, that's not an elevated sidewalk, it's all flush, so,
Oh,
but we'll.
Okay, I
we'll-
got you. I understand. I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna have it marked off or something like that.
We'll make it wider if we need to, so it's not a,
Then
you know.
they could go by
The intention
anyway.
here, really, I mean, I was asked by planning, to ask the planning board to give us a relief on the parking spaces.
Yeah.
But I thought, because we were here last time, that this would eliminate the concerns that you have
Yeah.
versus the pedestrians. I didn't think there was a parking issue at all there. If we thought it was a parking issue, I would have left a couple of parking spaces or something, but really, I
Well-
mean, we exceed the required parking.
You could put some parallel spaces there and employees could park there.
That's fine, I don't, yeah, I mean, but the issue was, per your zoning bylaws, you can't park within 20 feet of a street line. So in order to do that, I'm not sure, to meet the 20 feet, we would be parking, it might work. If
You'd make 20 feet. You can make 20 feet and put a couple spaces there, but I'm sure you could, anything over there would help.
Sure.
Another question was, over on the right side, there's alongside the building, it goes towards the back. Is that a walkway and steps or something? I was just wondering what.
To the back of the building?
Yeah, on the right side, on the east side of the
Yes,
building.
that would be stepped down just because of the elevation.
So you could put employee parking back there if you had to?
On the side of the building or on the, to
No,
the
in the
back
back.
of the building?
In the back of the building, that the employees could park in the back and be able to walk up safely.
Well, they could, but again, I mean, you know, the neighbors are suggesting that we take all the pavement out and put crushed stone. You know, we're trying to really work with everyone here, but if we need an overflow for employee parking, we can do that, yes.
Okay.
If parking is really a concern, we can do that.
One last thing, I don't want to tie you up, but one of the plans is landscaping and site lighting, but I didn't see any site lighting. Maybe I didn't look close enough. Do you have lights around that are lighting up the walkways? And I know
All
you
we
have lights on the
yes,
side
we
of the
do.
building, but,
The lights are shown on the building elevations and their wall packs. I mean, we talked about this, just wall packs with
Yeah.
downspouts.
well, that's the building. But what about the walk up at the front, walking around the side and elsewhere? I mean, are there a couple of pole lights or something, or
Yeah,
even?
there's existing poles there that we're not touching, that we're in the front, and also, in the front, you get the lighting from the canopy. We're not taking the canopy down. The entrance of the building
Yeah, well,
has
that-
some recessed lighting, yes.
That's the canopy, but I'm
Yeah.
just wondering how much light spills over to the walkways. That's what I was just, and if you don't have enough lights, the light foot candles on the walkways, because any retail store, you know, in parking lots, there are certain levels of light that you have
Right.
to have.
The-
And I think you should meet that same here.
We have some recessed lights in the entrance of on the outside of the store that will.
That's the
project
store. I'm talking about where people are walking in and around from the street. That's all. I think those should be treated the same as any other shopping center, retail store, parking lot, walkways, that you have a minimum 5-foot candles, walkways, and 2 in the parking. And you have plenty around the building. That's fine. I can see that. But you don't, you're not really showing anything on the outside, and I just would like you to look at that and address that. And that's it. I don't want to tie up any more time. Thank you.
Is there any questions over there? I do have an opinion on that. I mean, Phil, you're also talking a neighborhood here. My sister-in-law lives across the street, actually. So, But, you know-
There are lights they make that are just,
This-
there's 0 on the outside and shine down. I'm just asking to light up a walkway so somebody doesn't trip at night and have a sufficient amount of light. You can even do it with a shorter light, just on the walk. It doesn't have to be way up high, but everybody who builds a retail center and, or even office buildings, it's got to be 0 light spilling over the edge, over the property line. So these things are made. They're used all the time.
and so there's no other questions down there? Yeah, I mean, I have a couple comments that, when I looked at this, I don't have an issue with light, because I think the canopy and the spillover from the building, the canopy and everything, it does light up that parking lot. But over at the edge, you didn't have the 20 feet anyways for the parking spaces, you know, the ones you took out. They had to be 20 feet from the street, which we did, I knew you weren't, we were actually gonna have to discuss putting that into the special permit, because it didn't meet that anyways. So I get them taken out is actually a good thing that way, you know? And I know the bylaw, it does, as far as the pump, it does allow for those, for parking spaces. And actually, I do it myself. I go and get my gas and go in and back out, so everybody does it. So I don't see an issue there.
Everyone doesn't do it.
Yeah, well, I do. All right, so if there's no other comments from the board, I'm gonna go back to public comment. So, Richard?
Well, I don't know if he's done that, is he?
Huh?
I don't know that he finished, did he?
Oh, yeah. so-
Oh, were you all set?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Unless you have other questions, I don't, I'd like to add that I just checked it, we do have a light at the corner at the easterly driveway too. And that was the parking lot for the office building, so it was that, you know, we tried to use the same footprint of the building, same parking lot, so we don't create any disturbances, you know, we're very sensitive to the neighbors, we try and, you know, we'll work with the neighbors, you know, it's not, really, this is an improvement to what's there, and, you know, so.
Okay. So I'm going to go to public comment. Richard had his hand up, so.
Rich Cirque, I'm in a butter. We own the 5-unit residential building on Lincoln Street. It's been a pleasure to work with this gentleman, massaging the conditions, and we wish him well. I had 3 conditions of approval, I think, which are basically already in the record, but let me just say them. 1, the proposed stone, instead of bituminous, should be extended across the entire back of the building buffer to buffer prior to the issuance of a building permit. 2, the dumpster and dumpster enclosure should be moved 20 feet from the lot line as opposed to the proposed 6 feet. And the site lighting, which you've talked about, must be directed away from abutting residential property and be screened from view. Those are our concerns, and if they're satisfactory, I'm a happy camper.
Well, I'm going to ask the petitioner, how do you feel about them? And you have the right to.
Okay, Mr. Chair, currently, there's a dumpster in the northwest corner. It's unscreened, doesn't, you know, we understand the concerns. I looked at the zoning bylaws, I think there's no, we're in compliance with zoning, but again, I understand, and I tell you why the reason it's in that corner, Richard, because the truck needs to go straight, lift it up and back up. That's the only way we can. If you push it 20 feet into the lot, he can't get to it. So what we propose to put a 6-foot vinyl fence around it, and we propose to repair or replace all the fence along the property line, and also we added some more vegetation so you don't see it. That's what we did. As far as lighting, we'll be happy. Whatever conditions you put in, I guarantee you there'll be no spillage of light from 2 wall packs on that side of the building. And again, we added the fence along the northerly side, we added the landscape. As far as the crushed stone, we took 600 square feet to improve the runoff from the site. And this was based, we had to go back and forth with engineering on that, and, you know, and during construction, I said, we'll expose the drainage system, because we can't really open a drainage system right now. The gas station is under construction. I can't dig 30 by 30 hole in the parking lot just to see what's there. I'm listening, my client has been there for 10, 15 years. He never had any drainage issues. But again, in construction, we'll expose the drainage system. We'll work with DPW and engineering to make sure that it's properly functioning. Whatever we need to do, we'll do. And the reason why we can't take all that, because I figured we need access to the back of the building we have a snow storage in the back. We have to push that snow storage in the back. And we all know when you're pushing snow in the winter, and if you have gravel or crushed stone, it's not an easy thing. So we kind of, I mean, I'll try, maybe I can, and when he meant the buffer, I'm not sure what he meant buffer to buffer. I don't know if there's a buffer back there. If he meant the setback buffer, maybe we can increase the crushed stone to go into the setback buffer, but I don't believe there's a buffer from another property. It's not a residential property, it's a residential use, but again, I might be wrong, but according to zoning bylaws, I don't think there was a buffer from that property that we have to maintain. But again, we can increase that buffer, because, as I said before, We're here to work with the neighbors. We're not here to fight with anyone, and we're trying really to move with this project, and it's a good improvement to that corner.
Okay, so the stone, how did that come about? Originally, it was all tar. It was a DPW that asked for the stone?
Well,
or-
because because this is a redevelopment project, so basically for redevelopment project, you really, if you don't increase the runoff from the site, you don't have to do anything. But as an improvement, we said, we'll take some of that pavement, put crushed stone, so now your crushed stone would infiltrate into the ground rather than be collected by the catch basin, because they said they had concern at the first time. And it's just to kind of address some of their concern and not to say, well, we're really not doing anything here. We're not increasing the runoff. We don't have to do anything. So it's not the attitude that we're taking.
We're just trying to minimize the amount
Yeah,
of
yeah, hold on,
impervious
guys.
surface.
Yeah.
One at a time, and I'll call you to go back up. Are you set,
Yeah, I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
Richard? All right, is there anybody else with public comment? Oh, you want? No, because you are public. Okay, anything over
Yeah,
here?
I'm still stuck on parking. Where do the employees park here?
It's gonna be with the 7 parking spaces.
The employees are gonna park where the customers park. How many employees? I mean, this is crazy. This is too
Mr.
much here. I mean, this is ridiculous to count spaces at the gas pump. I don't care whether the town accepts it or not. I think it's ridiculous when you got 7 spaces, one of them's a handicap, right? So you get 6 spaces for the rest of the world. And then guy's gonna come in, charge his EV car, now you get 5 spaces. You got 1 or 2 employees, now you're down to 2 spaces. I mean, it just doesn't make
So
any
my
sense.
question to you is,
Makes no sense.
why can't you, first of all, your snow area, if you got the stone up there, you can use the snow on top of the stone, because actually that's good, it'll drain through it. Why can't you mark a couple spaces for employee parking out there?
I would love to, Mr. Chair. I would love to. Yes,
Well,
Can you?
Well,
we
wha-
can.
Huh?
Can?
Absolutely. We can
Right.
put couple of parking spaces in the back for
For the
employees.
employees.
Yeah,
Right,
Okay.
so, and I think that's what you need to do is just put that, the snow area on top of the stone. It's not, you're not plowing the stone, you're
No.
just dumping it there.
yeah. No, I mean,
Then-
there's plenty of room in the back for 2 or 3 parking. I can put 3 parking spaces. if
Right,
you want.
exactly.
Yeah. Call them employee only, so that's why, no access to the back.
Yeah, okay, so that's one thing that we're gonna want.
Yeah.
And what was your other concern? Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to meet the lighting bylaws anyways, as far as that. Is there any other comments out there, or? No?
No,
Okay.
I'll add,
Tom? Tom?
yeah, I would, and if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, if I may, you can put a condition that will show the parking before the issuing of a building permit, so we don't have
No,
to
what
come
I'll-
back for another, if this is acceptable to the
What
board.
I'm gonna do is, or the way I'm gonna handle it is you agreed to it. What we'll do is we'll have you come back at an informal and bring it back to us, because in other words, the plan we file has to be complete.
Okay,
So what we'll do is, if we approve it tonight, it gets approved, and I'm gonna have you come back at an informal and show us that.
sure.
One more question. Oh,
Tom?
Thank you. I'd like to address my question to Mr. Cirque, please. Richard, would you share with me or share with the board your concerns with either paved or the crushed stone? And because obviously, you and I both know that with a serious snowstorm, it's almost impossible to plow stone. share with your thinking with me, because
I was concerned, we were concerned, because if it's impervious and it's not stone, it increases the likelihood in a heavy rainstorm that the water is going to pour onto our property.
all right.
That was the thinking. And if it was pervious through the placement of stone as opposed to bituminous, it would drain down rather than off-site. That was the logic.
All right, and would you, did I understand that you wanted actually more than that, or what was originally proposed? I'm not sure where you're happy.
What was originally proposed was pervious on the right side of the back area, and we wanted to have pervious through the entire back area in order, again, to lessen the likelihood of runoff onto our property in the event of a 100-year storm. That was the logic, and I think you can drive over it even if it's pervious. So that was our thinking. That was the rationale.
And so was it your suggestion that there be no paved in the rear, or do you want it expanded?
Our suggestion was that in the rear, it be entirely stone as opposed to asphalt.
All right. And so when we're faced with a decision of clearly snow plowing it's going to happen, it's going to be necessary,
Yeah.
and when we're trying to have the wisdom of Solomon and who's going to take the baby, I'm troubled by I'm troubled with the issue of plowing the snow, and I'm troubled with the issue of where the runoff goes. I mean, there's no question, each has a legitimate concern.
I understand that, and we would just like to maximize the amount of area that can be stoned, that can be covered with stone as opposed to bituminous asphalt.
All right.
I think that the stone area still can be parked on.
Is that word partially? I didn't hear the last word.
I think you can still park on it if it's stone. The question of plowing, I understand. And that's the limit of what I could respond. I mean, I know you're balancing two different priorities.
You satisfied, Tom?
I'd be satisfied hearing from the proponent on what he thinks is the
Well, I'm
best.
going to bring him back up.
Yeah, thank you. I'm satisfied with Richard's. Yeah, thank you, Richard.
I still have one more question.
I appreciate it.
If you want to comment on that.
Oh, I got two more questions. One from Pete and Phil, but I'll let Phil go first.
Hi, sorry, I had one more question about the building height. On the plan that shows the building, you don't show what the overall height is.
The height is 27 feet 8 inches to the
Well,
ridge.
To the top of the cupola.
To the ridge.
That's the ridge, but do we measure buildings to the top of the cupola, or do we measure to the top of the ridge?
Me gonna.
And also the mean, that's in the back.
Right.
So it wouldn't be from the back, wouldn't it be the mean on the side?
Yeah,
Slope?
it's the average height. Right. on
Yeah,
the side.
on the average. It's just, I think you're under the 35. It's just that you should show it on the plan.
Yeah,
You're close, but 35 is the limit,
okay.
unless you want to go for,
No, and if the cupola is an issue, we'll take it down. It's not,
oh, no, the cupola looks
The
very
cupola
nice.
is
I
just-
just want to make sure nobody comes along after the fact
Right.
and says, oh, that's about 2 feet over the limit.
no, I'll make sure next time when I come, I'll take the average of the 4 sides and I'll give you what the average.
Yeah,
are.
in the code, it tells you
Yes.
exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
well,
Okay.
it's definitely, it's not going to
Thank
be
you.
over 35, yeah. And to answer the question on the drainage, and again, this area we're talking about is existing pavement right now. So let's say we pull this application and we say, well, for some reason, we're not going to do the gas station anymore, it's there. And my understanding, there's no issues with the drainage. And again, I said, during construction, we're going to expose the system and make sure there's no issues. But If you allow me to, I mean, I will check. If I only need 3 parking spaces in the back, and this is 27, we're almost, I can add a little bit more stone at the back, just if, but it's really, we're going beyond what we need to do, but I don't know.
Well, Richard, I've got another question up here, so we're gonna let that go. You know,
Some of us are plow guys, we don't want the stone. Holy mackerel. This is a question more for the board. In number 7 of the planning board suggestions, they talk about traffic counts and measuring traffic and stuff. And my question to the board is, isn't that a little bit after the fact?
yeah, it's
I mean, normally we would see that. I mean, what would we do if they're ready to build and they said, no, that traffic doesn't work right and the signals haven't been changed and nothing's good? It just seems like we're putting the cart before the horse on a couple of these things to me. Yeah, that's my comment, that's it.
If I may, we did submit traffic analysis with the trip for the, what's on the building and what we're proposing. Right now, it's an existing gas station. The increase is the difference in the square footage of the building itself. So you have a 500 square foot building, and you're going to 2,000 square foot building. That's the difference in the increase of the traffic. So we looked at the ITE, we looked at the traffic generation, because you have an office right now with 3, so office obviously doesn't generate a lot of traffic, let's say 6, 8 trips a day for 3 units. So we took what's there now and what with the 2,000 square foot building, the increase in the traffic was somewhere around maybe 4 or 5 cars per peak hour, because I tell you why, we all know that gas stations are not traffic generators. It means the traffic is already on the street. It's what we classified the traffic as not impulsive. No, it's a pass-by traffic. So you're driving by, you see a gas station. I'm not driving from Situate to come to Plymouth to gas up because the gas is cheaper, you know. So it's not a mall, that's why. So really, the traffic is on the street. You'll get the traffic from the street. So.
Well, to that response, I would tell you that I go there every week. It's very difficult to even find an open pump. It's that busy there, without a convenience store.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna leave my truck parked there, I need a sticker to put in the window that says, I'm told I can leave it here while I go shopping.
It's Mr. Keenan, I think he has that 10 cents special on Tuesday that's creating one.
Is there any other questions from the board? None? Okay. Well, unless you got something to say, I'm gonna
No,
bring it back
Mr.
to
Chair,
the board.
I'll be glad to revise the plans to show 3 parking spaces in the back for employees only with the signage so people don't access the back. And I'll be glad to get you revised plans with the average height around the building to make sure we're in compliance with the 35 feet. And other than that, we had a good recommendation from the planning board. We had a good meeting with the Plymouth Center Steering Committee. They excited about the project, and we all excited about the project. And we kindly ask your approval on this special permit.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna bring it back to the board. So, Tom, start down there.
I have no further questions. I'm very comfortable with the decision.
Okay. Ed?
Thank you, Peter, for bringing up the extra parking in the back. That saved the deal.
Oh. If it's paved.
Oh, I was gonna ask you. Guess not. Phil?
That's Phil's idea.
I'm good, thank you.
And Pete? Yeah, I mean, you know, again, is one thing we got to keep in mind here is the use is already there. You know, of course, one building's for the lawyer there, and I don't know what else is in there, but I don't see, you know, they have that little shed that they're already selling the convenience stuff out of anyway that isn't as nice. I think this is definitely improvement. Myself, I'm not into adding any more stone out back, because that's just gonna create a problem with the catch basins. When we spoke before, that was one of the things I wanted to make sure was you moved, because it was in the demolition plan, it showed the catch basins, but they didn't show up farther along, which actually looked like you took them out.
No,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
added them on a site plan if you recall. yeah.
And you came back with that, so you did satisfy, and the comments, as everybody else, most of the comments that they do say, will be satisfied at the building permit, those are common, because, you know, especially the as-built, you know, those have to be done afterwards anyways. So I really don't have any issues with it. I'm glad we get into the parking out back, because that's not a big deal. You got plenty of room back there, easy to mark them off for employees, and it is a good place, keeping them, you know. We'll put an extra condition in there for the parking spaces being marked. And what other concern, and you wanted a light on the front, or?
No, the lights, there's a code for the lights. They'll just have to meet the code for parking, and it's enough spillover on the walkways, and that's fine. It's just gonna meet the code. That's not just Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, I'm fine if they, as long as they meet the code. You don't have to do a condition.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So, Building Commissioner, do you have anything to say, or? No. Okay. All right, so we're gonna add the one condition that you'll come back at a future meeting, in an informal, with the parking spaces marked and the building height.
Sure.
Any other?
Screening for the dumpster.
Well, he does have that already on this one. It's already on there. And they actually have the landscaping plan. They added landscaping back there, too. As far as the condition list, when we get there, I had looked it over. You could remove 4 conditions, because they did put them on the plans. I don't feel comfortable removing any others, because, to be honest with you, I think the building department may have to lean back on them. So I'd probably even maybe leave the 4, that's up to you guys. Tom, yeah?
Do you want to tell us which ones you were thinking about?
Well, the only ones that well, yeah.
All right, leave it.
I mean, the only ones that I could see even totally removing is number 1, which was the dumpster. He did put that on the plan. It does have the screening and the foliage. But again, I think maybe we should leave them, because the others, to be truthful with you, I went through the whole list, and I wouldn't feel comfortable removing any of the others. You know, he did put the access for the, showed the access at gray line for where they're gonna, you know, for the trucks, you know what I mean, going in, the fire truck and stuff, and there is that area there for the building, but to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with just leaving them in, because the other ones are, you know,
There's a lot there to satisfy.
oh, there's a lot, yeah. So, I guess I'm gonna wait a motion. Who's gonna, anybody gonna?
I'll make a motion to approve the case number 4131 with conditions.
There's
as-
30 conditions.
30 conditions.
No, 31 now.
31 conditions from the planning board.
Well, 30 from the
and
planning board, the one we
And one
added.
by us.
Right. And highest second?
Second.
Ed, second? And We're gonna vote. All those for approval? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
And then Denise will let you know when to come back for the
Okay.
informal,
Sure.
and we'll go from there. Oh, well, glad to
Thank
hear
you.
that.
Thank you.
Now it's back to Mike.
Good job.
Okay, here we can move right along to the second case of the evening, case number 4131. The Plymouth Zoning Board of Appeals on the zoning bylaw will hold a public hearing in the Great Hall, Town Hall, 26 Court Street, Plymouth, Mass. On Monday, August 19th, 2024, at 7 p.m. to hear the petition of Darrell Vidal requesting a special permit required per section 203-9C to expand a pre-existing non-conforming structure to construct, I can't see, it's typed over, to construct a front porch and an addition on the property at 20 Sunset Avenue, shown as lot 38-1 on plat 48 of the assessors map dated January 1, 2023, in an R25 zone. The petitioner or his or her representative and any other persons desiring to be heard on this matter should appear at the time and place designated. Who will be presenting?
Hi,
Oh,
good evening.
Before I do that,
Sure.
I want to seat some people. So, Mr. Leary, Mr. Conroy, Mr. Connor, Mr. Wallace, and myself will be seated. Your name, please.
Sure. My name is Robert DeWar here with Bracken Engineering on behalf of the owner and applicant, Darrell Vidal. And we're here tonight to request a special permit for a reduction in setback to a front yard. And I'll just run through the project here real quick. We have a small house here in the neighborhood on the west side of Fresh Pond, right here in the yellow. It's a neighborhood of all small houses, pretty similar to this one. Just run through. The existing house is just over 600 square feet, and it does have, it actually resides on a corner lot. It's Sunset Ave, wraps the corner along right here. So we do have a double front yard in this situation. The zoning bylaw, you know, you designate a primary front yard with the 20-foot setback because we are in the R20 zone. However, the lot, you know, is pre-existing non-conforming, so we're abiding by the 20-foot front yard setback and a 10-foot side yard setback. And then on the corner lot, the secondary, you know, front yard, I guess, the front yard setback is half of that, so 10 feet. So we've designated this on the eastern side as the primary front, and here on the southeastern side as the secondary with a 10-foot minimum setback. So we do have an existing deck here that does protrude into that setback. However, it's less than 3 feet in height, so it's not counted as a structure. It basically is almost at grade. And then, the site is, you know, again, we're basically just trying to put a roof over that. So the existing house right now is serviced by a Title V compliant septic system that's proposed to remain. And then we do have town water here, and they have propane. So again, the applicants are proposing to raise this southeasterly portion it's about 118 square feet and rebuild that. I'll go on, actually. Let me just flip through my slideshow. Here's just some pictures of the existing house. So this would be the deck that's in sort of the front yard, and this is the structure that's to be raised. And here's just looking from the southeast. I'm getting my directions right there. Just onto our proposed plan here. Again, the applicants are proposing to raise this 118 square feet portion of the house and reconstruct it. It's about 178 square feet for the reconstruction, so it does bump out a couple more feet here. And then they are proposing to add a roof onto the existing deck here and reconstruct the deck in the same footprint, but with a roof. So that would convert it to now count as a structure, which protruding into the setback gives us a 16-foot setback from the street line to that now front porch, which leads us to the special permit request this evening. In terms of aspects in the special permit requirements, the house is expanding about 31 square feet, but it's not growing overtly in size. It's still maintaining the character of the neighborhood of the small house. They're not adding any bedrooms. It's not going to be an increase in traffic for the neighborhood. There's no impact on utilities. Again, it's private septic. Again, no increase to the size, so their existing water service is going to remain the same. And that's really about it. It's a pretty straightforward project. Unfortunately, it's just that the special permit is required for the setback in the front. So with that, I think I'd open up to the board with any questions you may have.
Gentlemen?
So the part there that's going to go from, I don't know, 100 odd to 178 or something, what is that going to be? You said it's not a bedroom or anything?
No, it's not a bedroom. Here's the the proposed floor plan. So it's just seating area. It's just seating area right now. I think it looks like it was mainly almost a converted, if I go back to the pictures, almost like a converted three-season porch in the past that is connected to the main house. Is just general seating area. What the addition is going to do is allow them just a little bit bigger, and then it allows them actually for a staircase down to the basement as well.
And a roof on that front porch.
Yep.
So question might be to the board. Would we normally, on something like this, ask for drainage?
Oh,
There is,
sorry.
he's got a dry well off on the back.
Correct. We do actually have a dry well proposed to accommodate any drainage from the larger roof area.
Okay,
Yep.
I see it now. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you read the report, it talked about
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
any other business. Yes, sir.
So I'm just going to make a comment. Okay, so I went out there, looked at it. I mean, it's a congested neighborhood, no question about that.
It is.
And I looked out, so the coverage on the lot is about 20%?
Yeah. Yep. It's like 19.7 existing, and it goes up to about 20.2.
Okay, so it's still well within that. And, I mean, I went out there, half the neighbors there's a couple people that are pretty close to the street, never
Yeah.
mind the 20 feet. So to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with this one. I think it's well within what the neighborhood, it's customary with everything else that's here. Actually, it's a lot better. I think it's gonna make an improvement, so I have no problems with it. I'm for it.
If you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, unless you guys have any other further questions. I'm all set.
Okay, well, I'm going to open it to public comment. Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the board
Certainly.
for board discussion only. Building department have anything they want to weigh in? Okay. Gentlemen, have you looked at the condition? It's only the one, it's the standard one. Okay, well, I await the board's pleasure.
I'll make a motion that we approve case number 4131, and with the one condition.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ed, is that you? Oh, Wallace.
Tom?
With one condition. We have a motion by Michael to approve case number 4131 and a second by Mr. Wallace, with one condition. All those in favor? It is unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have some, a little bit of nuisance stuff to take care of.
Yeah, I wasn't here, so I was.
We have the minutes from the July 15th meeting. Has everybody looked at them?
I have.
Well, Bill, did you look at them? Okay. He wasn't? Okay, so,
I wasn't here.
wow.
You want a motion?
Well,
Not
Ed, are
yet.
you all set?
The minutes look good.
Mr. Wallace? Okay, I'm looking for,
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of the July 15th. I was waiting to get her attention. Minutes of the July 15 meeting.
is there a second? I have a motion by Mr. Connor and a second by Mr. Conroy to accept the minutes for July 15th, 2024's meeting. All those in favor? It's unanimous for the people that were here. If there is any other business before this board, please say it now. And if none,
So we have one, we have this thing?
That's,
yeah.
that is what we passed at town meeting.
It's a town meeting thing. We're not listening about any articles or anything on it. It's
It goes
just,
in your zoning pack.
it's the ADU and the MBTA
This was
thing.
passed at town meeting?
Yes, we passed the ADUs and we passed the overlay district for the,
MBTA.
yeah, MBTA, the 40Bs, basically.
Yeah, we're
So-
getting taken to the cleaners on that.
So
Yeah,
just,
really.
they just go in your thing, and then there's one page that goes, the last, with the blue there, that goes in your table 5. So she gave us all the things that goes in.
And it was approved by the AG's office?
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's all done.
yes. Okay,
Motion to
so
adjourn.
I await the board's pleasure.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All those in favor? This meeting is officially closed.